Welcome back to A Plus Parents, everyone. And we have the answer for you to the question when it comes to what is it that we should do when it comes to chemistry. We get asked this all the time. We do our math courses, American Sign Language, our grammar class. We have all the classes that we do in Mr. D Math. But when we get asked the question, what do you guys do for chemistry? We've really not had someone we can refer to in the past. We do now. And the name of the company is Chemexplained.com. And with us today are the creators of Chemexplained. It's Denise and Richard. I'm going to say this right. Risbrudt. How do you do? And Richard goes by Mr. Riz. He is a former high school geometry teacher, 46 years in the business. Congratulations on that. He's retired now. He's been retired for the last 3 years, 17 years. He also taught at a private school as well. And then there was a lot of homeschool requests to get him to create the program that he did. So he's got the program, but the program is so good that colleges have picked it up, and now you can actually earn dual credit through a couple of colleges. So I'm going to have them share that with you a little bit with you about how to do that if you're interested in getting dual credit as well. Or you can do this as an honors course if you're doing the program. So they'll tell us all about the program, but it comes with videos, workbooks. I'm going to let them tell you about how that works because they have the whole thing there. And it's just it's a treat to have you guys here. So Mr. Riz, as the educator, and Denise has been raising her own kids, and she raising her own kids. Her daughter now is in the world of homeschooling and is a homeschool mom. So that's so exciting. We're really, really excited to hear about that as well. It's interesting because we have a common friend, and our common friend is used to run a blog for us, and we loved her. But it's funny because she calls you the Mr. D of science, right? So we're kind of the Mr. Riz of Mr. D kind of on that side of science thing. So we'll have to be the Mr. Riz on our side when it comes to what we do. So we always we always love the relationships we have with people that have been able to write on our behalf and do blogging and things like that. So let's go, Annie. Big shout out to Annie. So if you're out there listening still, we're just happy to know you're still out there, and we miss you. So we want to make sure you know that as well. So, okay. So let's start with this because, you've got all this experience in the classroom, and, I came from the same world. I came from the public school system. I didn't make it as long as you did. So kudos for you for lasting that long. So how did it, kind of how Chemexplained, how did it come to be a reality?
Well, chemistry has always been my passion. I not only love the subject, but my joy comes in helping students understand the difficult math-based concepts that we find in chemistry. And I taught chemistry, like you mentioned, for 46 years, and we learned a lot from our students, and it just kept me going. And I was encouraged by the students that would graduate and then go to college, come back and say, "Thank you, Mr. Riz, for the chemistry that I learned from you. It was very helpful when I got to college. In fact, college chemistry was easy." And so we just, 1 year led to another, and pretty soon 46 have gone by.
Wow, that's amazing. That's funny you say that too, because it's like for me, it's like, how did I learn math? Well, there was the math that I knew, but I really learned from students, from what is it that they get, what do they not get, what do they don't understand, where are they headed, what are they going to see next? Like kind of like they are, without a doubt, have always been my best teachers as well. So that's really cool. And isn't it great when the students come back to you and they can say, "Hey, thank you for that," because it
Well,
made a
I'm
difference when they
encouraged.
get to college. Yeah, it's awesome.
It was
So
fun.
go ahead, Denise. Yeah.
I'm going to say it was fun when they actually came to Richard. When he says he's taught that many years, he has, when they've come back and said, "Hey, I'm homeschooling my student now, and I want the chemistry you taught me for my student." And so that was really a big motivator to get going with chemexplained.com.
Oh, that's awesome. You know what? I was just I was a keynote speaker in Tampa, Florida, about 2 weeks ago. And when I was there, this woman came up to me who I would have never recognized. And she said, "I was one of your math students." You're not going to believe this, but it was like, what did she tell me? 1993, where she was a math student of mine. And, so we started talking and reminiscing a little bit. And I said, "So what are you doing now?" She goes, "Well, I homeschool my kids and they're doing the programs." And she just loves it. And she goes, "But I always remember same thing, how you taught math, and I wanted my kids to have a similar experience. So it's really great. And, when you look, because people ask us all the time, how are you different, right? And we get asked that so often about how we're different. So we have our answer, right? But let's ask you guys the same thing. So how is Chemexplained different from other high school chemistry programs out there?
Well, I would say one of the best things that people have commented on for us is that we have top-notch customer service. I mean, our goal is for students to learn chemistry. And so if there's a problem, a question, they have instant access to Mr. Riz right here. And I can vouch for that because I see him getting those emails or text messages on his phone. And just this morning, he talked to a mom for 30 minutes because she was wondering, she had just bought the program and she just had some questions on how it worked. And so he just walked her through some of those things to help her and her son get started. And he loves to do that. That's the teacher in him. And so I would say our customer service is top notch, and we're proud of that.
One of the things, that students need, Mr. D, that when they have a question, especially in chemistry, they need to get it answered right now. If they're in a co-op that meets every Tuesday and the retired pharmacist comes in and helps them with their chemistry for that hour, who answers their questions, Wednesday through Monday? And so we like to provide that teacher access to ask questions, but also to visit with the parents on the phone if they want to do that. We've had Zoom calls from Virginia with families. We've had FaceTime students. So we want to give them access to a teacher because it's no fun to be discouraged and not get that question answered when they have something that they need to do. And what I've done over the years is I've taken the questions that students have asked me and tried to incorporate it back into the curriculum. If I have a number of students that don't understand Lewis structures of polyatomic ions, I need to explain that better and give them more examples. So I've tried to include that back into Chemexplained.
I have no idea what that part of it was. I'd be like, I'm going to be on the phone calling you myself. So, or that's funny. It's so great because I totally agree with you. I think it is one of the most important things is that young people and parents as well, that when they need questions answered, that we're available and that we make ourselves available. And it sounds like you really make yourself available. So that's awesome. People are going to be, I can tell already, people listening right now, they're jotting it down. It's chemexplained.com. So that's the site. You're going to see it in the show notes. We know you're going to get out there and do that. But, when you look at chemistry, oftentimes people are trying to figure out, when am I ready for chemistry? So, do you notice, and we get this a lot in math as well, where people are asking things about math and, how do they know that they're ready and what abilities do they need or what skill sets do they need to have? So, when you see students, really can any academic ability, can they do well in this course?
I just know that as a prerequisite, we often say to parents that they need to have Algebra 1 under their belt. And when they're done with Algebra 1 and can do those skills proficiently, then they're ready for chemistry. Any math after Algebra 1, Mr. Riz will teach them how to do that.
We incorporate the math in our curriculum. We advertise it as a college prep, a math-based chemistry course, high school chemistry course. And many of the chemistries that are out there, I like to explain chemistry as this big, beautiful lake. And some courses will put you in a speedboat and zip you across that thing as fast as you can. Say, we're done. We like to take a pontoon and zigzag back and forth and go underneath the surface and explain to them the multi-level calculations that are required in a high school math chemistry course.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's good. Let's make a little math with chemistry. I like that. So let's just look like, for a typical day for a student, they're doing Chemexplained, the program. How does it work and what's a typical day look like for a student?
Well, most students will follow what we call a calendar for the foundation. We have 4 types of students. So quickly, if I could describe those.
Of course.
The foundational students. The foundational student is a student that may struggle in math, may or may not. You got to push them to get them going. They like to take things at a slower pace. They may require some modifications. About 20% of our students are foundational students. And so we would want them to cover 10 to 13 chapters in Chemexplained. and give them credit for foundational chemistry. You know, if you have a big, thick history book of 28 chapters, how far do you get? As far as you can. So that's what we expect our students. If the farther along they get, the more credit they get for chemistry. If they cover 14 to 17 chapters in Chemexplained, we give them credit for traditional chemistry. So most of our students are traditional students. They may struggle in math from time to time, but they get it and move on. And so the traditional student will cover 14 to 17 chapters. And then we have the honor student who we expect to cover 18 to 20 chapters in Chemexplained, and they would get credit for honors chemistry credit. They understand the rigor, they love a challenge, might even enjoy it, and they can take the course at a faster pace. And then we have the college student that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's really great.
One of the things I just wanted to mention is that it's important, I think, too, for parents to recognize that it's not a job for a parent to like smooth a path for somebody when they're taking a difficult class, but to be the place of calm. And so our job as a parent is to teach kids that it's good to do hard things. And sometimes I think parents will maybe shy away from the tougher subjects for their students because they know it's going to be hard for them. But this is really good for students to learn how to do hard things. And you can try to explain to them by helping them break down things into manageable steps and have conversations afterwards about what was hard, what was good, what did you learn, what was exciting when you finished the course. And just offer that guidance for them. But hard doesn't mean impossible. And hard is such a huge confidence builder. So if your student may not be going into a STEM field, like many people say, I don't need chemistry, they're not going into a STEM field. Oh, they might. And so don't shy away from something that's hard because it can just be a great confidence builder for your student.
We have students, Mr. D, or we have families that come up to us, Mr. D, and say, my student has ADHD, they have ADD, they struggle, they need to take things at a slower pace. And I tell parents, I said, I have had one student that passed this class that misspelled his name. And they go, okay, so I think my son or daughter can do this. They just take it at a slower pace. They can review the videos. They can ask the questions. Our goal is to help them understand chemistry no matter what level they're at.
Wow. Oh, I love that. You know, given that you've been an educator for, 46 years and beyond now that you've been developing the program that you were in the classroom that long, you had a chance to see all kinds of students. So, knowing that you can address and you can meet all the different learning styles that young people have, the different learning challenges they have for the ones that need to go a little slower, for the ones that want to go faster, but you've had enough experience where you're able to put that and put it into the program. When kids are doing the program, so there's videos they watch, and then parents have a guide and students as well. So tell us a little bit about the materials that they get if they are using the program.
Well, most students will follow, like we've mentioned, you remember the good old days when you would teach in the classroom, the teacher would read the chapter, right? I can assign a chapter. Well, not 100% of them would read it. So the teacher would read it and then come to school and lecture. The students would take notes, give them homework, come back to school the next day and do it all over again. I found out that if I gave them 90% of the notes already, and they could fill in 1 or 2 words, that we could cover a lot more chemistry and they would understand it a lot better. So we can cover more ground, cover more material. In the Chemexplained class, we have a calendar for them to follow. So here's the videos that you watch on day 1. Here's your assignment for tomorrow. So start working on that. And so they know exactly what to do on each day, when the assignment is due. And when I was in the classroom and the students I ran a flipped classroom. Okay, the flipped classroom is where they would listen to the lecture at home and come to school and do the homework. So when the students came into the classroom and they started working on the homework, I let them take a peek at the answer key. It's kind of like knowing the answer at the end of the math book. But in chemistry, you not only get the answer, you got to show how it's done step by step. And I know you do too. So
right.
I like to have them take a peek at the answer key and oh yeah, good. Because I want students to know if they're doing the problem correctly right now, not later, not next week when we meet in the co-op. I want them to know right now. So we give them a peek at the answer key to keep them going. Now, there's a big difference between taking a look at it and then putting your worksheet side by side and copying it down. You can
That's true.
understand that the right way.
Absolutely. Yeah,
They
and
do.
young people, they learn that, and they learn from trial and error. They learn that sometimes then when that works, they learn when that doesn't work. So there's that, and that becomes then about moms being calm and just kind of going with it and starting to notice what are you learning and having conversations with them. So you guys mentioned customer service. So they can reach you, and it sounds like there's times that it may not be a scheduled time that you get in touch with somebody, but how does it work when the students do have questions? Is it something, do they contact you via email or text, and do you have set times they do that, or how do you manage that for the students that have questions that they want to reach you?
Okay.
So the student, when they log on to the Chemexplained site where they do their work, there is a brown black button that says
Contact Mr. Riz.
Contact Mr. Riz, yep. And so they can just push that and they can type in their message or their question, and then it comes right to Mr. Riz's phone. It's funny you asked, does he have hours? I don't know that he does have hours. if he's sitting here at 10 o'clock at night and gets a question, he just answers it.
If we're playing a game with the family around the table, my wife doesn't like it if I answer a chemistry question during that time.
I get it. Wait, we have something similar. So we have some times that are set times where kids can come and they can join us on join one of our teachers on a Zoom call and ask questions. But it doesn't always work for them at that particular day and time. And so
right.
we have people that are checking emails all day long, and so they do that 7 days a week, and same thing. So again, it's just super important. So I like it comes right to your phone. That's impressive. So you're gonna see it right away. So that's great. So for families that are considering, they're checking this out right now, and they're like, hey, I want to find out more about it. Do you have like a free offer that they can check it out, or how can they find out about it, see if it's a good fit for them?
They can go to our website, chemexplained.com. And when they go there, they can log in with their email, and that gives them the opportunity to try all of Chapter 1 for free. So what I would recommend if I was a parent would be that I would go onto the website, register, and then before I start watching Chapter 1, I would actually download and print off all the note sheets and then the worksheets for Chapter 1. So as the student is listening to Chapter 1, hearing Mr. Riz's voice, they're filling in their note sheets. And then when they get done with a certain number of podcasts, which you follow along in the note sheets, it tells you when to do the worksheet. Then they go in and try the worksheet. And one of the things that I think one of the beauty of the program is that you're not given this big textbook to open up and figure out by yourself. You have the information being taught to you while you're filling in your note sheet, and in a sense, you're creating the textbook. And so the parent resource manual, of course, is the final textbook, but as a student, you're filling in those note sheets. But by doing that, you get an opportunity to see the structure and the format of chemexplained.com without having to spend any money.
Chapter 1 has got 13 note pages. It's got 4 worksheets. It's got 8 videos. And I tell parents this. I used to be a football coach for 35 years. And if I teach a young man how to throw the football or how to catch the football or how to block a lineman, I don't throw him in a game on Friday night. We practice it. We practice it over and over again. So that's what we do in our note sheets, but we also do in our worksheets. Students do worksheets to practice what they've learned, the chemistry concepts, by watching the videos. We don't teach them one thing and then give them assignment on something else and call it critical thinking. There's a lot of critical thinking in our course without doing something like that.
That's great. Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay, now, people are listening and they're thinking about it. And, there's the word we haven't used yet. We haven't talked about it, but here it comes, because with chemistry, when you think about chemistry, the thing that comes with it are doing the labs. So how do you manage labs, and how are they done in your course?
Well, we have 18 labs that are all on video. There's 39 videos that talk about the lab. They can be done real time or they can be done virtually. Now, we have a supplier. We have the list of all the equipment and supplies on our website of what is required for each lab. We don't have a lab kit, so to speak, for Chemexplained, because we find that a lot of our high school families already have some chemistry equipment. they have access to certain things. So rather than sell them duplicate on some of the equipment, we we just they can order the equipment they want through our supplier in Billings, Montana, and so they can order it in, do it real time, or we find out that a lot of our parents do a little each. They choose to do the expensive labs with a lot of chemicals involved in them because these are high school quality labs now. These are not middle school. This is not kitchen chemistry. This is college quality high school labs where what's important to us is did they learn the chemistry behind the lab? There's a lot of entertainment chemistry experiments out there where they say, we did chemistry and it was so much fun, but they have no idea what happened chemically in the experiment. So yeah, we have 18 labs. They can be done virtually or real time. And I know that they can be done virtually because in the college course that we teach, they do the labs all virtually. What's most important in a chemistry lab is did they learn the chemistry behind the lab? So we like them to fill out a chemistry lab report that we provide in our student lab manual. And so our student lab manual it contains all 18 experiments and maybe 7, 8, 9 pages for each one describing the safety precautions, the learning objectives, what we're going to learn, how we're going to do it, which we call the procedure, what they notice happened, which we call the observations. They're going to take data, but Mr. D, whenever they take data, now there's calculations to do.
Right.
And so we show them how to do the calculations, answer the questions, and then make their conclusions.
Oh, that's so great. All right, good. Well, it makes me more interested in that. It's like, wow, it's something maybe I could do, right? Because it was that was not my top science class when I was a high school student. So now, when you mentioned that this isn't like your, kitchen chemistry, I like that as a phrase, kitchen chemistry, right? That this is like that, that high school, college level chemistry. And we talked about that fourth kind of student, that fourth groups of students where they can actually dual enroll, get college credit. So let's just share with us about that. Like, how is it that young people can actually do the program and earn college credit while they're still in high school?
So I taught for 46 years. And then 2 days after I had my retirement party, Crown College in St. Bonifacius, Minnesota, called me up and said, can we look at your curriculum? We sent them our curriculum. They looked it over and they said of the 20 chapters that you have, we cover 18 in our first year college course. So we'd like to do that. So we set that up. And so what a student then, if he want college credit through Crown, will register at Crown College now in August. Class starts in about 3 weeks. They'll register at Chemexplained, and Chemexplained is where they receive all the teaching, where they receive all the instruction. They take all their tests online in a program called Canvas. And so the exams and quizzes are graded automatically. They send in their assignments. They get to grade their own assignments because they look at the answer key. We want them to do it the right way because it's only 1/3 of their grade. The other 2/3 are exams and quizzes. And so then they receive their grade that way. There's 1,200 points total for the class. And yeah, we have students that take the class from all over the world, Mr. D. We had a girl from Senegal take it last year. We got 3 students from China this year that are going to take the class. South Africa, the Middle East, the Philippines. So they're not only in the continental United States. Chemexplained is in 49 states. We're still working on Rhode Island.
Okay.
But we're having a storm here in Minnesota, Mr. D.
We actually have our tornado warnings going off right now.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well,
extra
excitement here.
Excitement to the podcast.
Okay. Well, it's so okay. Which we're almost there, right?
No,
so
it's okay.
Student,
it's fine.
so if you've got a student that if they live in Minnesota, they obviously can register for free at the college. What about if they're out of state and they want to just do your course, but they want to get the college credit and they want to do it through the college program there in Minnesota? How do they go about doing that?
So they would register at Crown College then for dual credit and then take the class online as a regular class. They would pay $90 a credit only at Crown College. For 4 credits would be $360, and then they'd buy the Chemexplained course. But we also have another way. We had Hartwell University, Mr. D, come up to us in Fort Worth, Texas, and they looked at our program and said, so this is a college course for kids that want to take Chemexplained at a very fast pace. The entire course basically in 8 months. What happens to the student that wants to take the entire course in 12 months or 13 months or 14 months? Can they get college credit? And I said, well, if we would give them honors chemistry credit on their transcript, and Hartwell University said, we will give them college credit.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
through
So
a
there's a
program
second
called
option. Yeah.
Yes. So students then, after they complete the class, the course, will contact me. I'll give them a certificate of completion. I'll first of all check to see if they really were a student. I'll give
Right.
I'll give them a certificate of completion. That's their ticket to Hartwell to take the course, take the test. It's called a PLA test. It's called a prior learning assessment exam. And there's 55 questions on that exam. I just completed it here a month ago. And if they get a 40 out of 55, which is a C or better, they have earned 4 semester credits of general chemistry to be put on their transcript. And it's also that there's over 240 colleges that will accept this credit. So what they would do, let's say they would uh, transfer these credits to from Hartwell to Kansas Christian University or something, then they could transfer from there to the college of their choice.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. All right. So it's chemexplained.com. We're going to have it in the show notes. Denise and Richard, I know you're dealing with some extreme weather where you guys are in Minnesota right
Yeah.
now. I'm going to let you get to that. Sometimes it's just fun to watch. So you can get in, storm tracker mode, right? And, if it's okay, we should come back. We'll do this again, kind of get back in later in the year and share a little more about how things are going, what you guys are up to. And we look forward to doing this again, if that works for you guys.
That would be fun. We thank you for having us.
Oh, absolutely. It was a pleasure. So for everyone out there, chemexplained.com, check it out. Here is your pathway to having your chemistry experience. Thanks for tuning in to A+ Parents, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.